Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about my favorite fantasy series of all time. I like to do this video every year, I think. I've done it every year. I'm pretty sure about that. But I don't know. I just like to keep you like up to date with like my favorite series. I do have to say that I have 16. I tried to make a top 10. Didn't work out. I'll try my best next year, but I just didn't want to cut some of these. Like, some are new, some are all time. It's kind of in an order, but not really. But it kind of is. So let's just get started. So down at the bottom, we have Master of Djinn by Jelly Clark. I know, I'm just as surprised as you. I just really like this world in general, and I keep like finding myself thinking about it. I just really liked it. I need more. Like, between this book and all the novellas, I'm just super invested on it. And I need more. It's basically a steampunk fantasy novel set on 1912 Cairo. It's basically about the investigation of a murder. And the murderer apparently is Al Jazid, who was the kind of savior that open the veil between like the magical world and our world 50 years ago. It's super good. I highly recommend this one. It's just so good in general. I love the world, love the plot. Fatma is fucking best. Like, love the character, one of my favorite characters of all time. Highly recommend this one. Next, Dreams of the Dying by Nicholas Lietzo. I loved this book so much last year. I keep thinking about it. I'm super excited for book 2. I wish it come out this year, but it's not a sure thing, so I'm pretty sad about it. But dude, I like this one. It's basically dark fantasy, and you're going to follow Jasper Dalborek. He's basically asked to come to these islands where this great merchant is sick and hasn't woke up. He's kind of in a coma, and you know, we have dream magic, we have like zombies, we have a hunted hero. Just really like this one so much. Like, you heard me talk about this one quite a lot. I will also link my dedicated review up here, but dude, this is so good. Like, if you like dark fantasy, highly recommend this one. It's not grim dark, but definitely dark fantasy. Then, one of my all-time favorites is, it was one of the first series that I read after coming back to reading, I don't know, 5 years ago, and I still like it so much. And I know it's pretty unpopular because a lot of people didn't like the take that it took, but I love The Demon Cycle by Peter B. Brett. This is the first book, The Painted Man. Oh my god, I like this one so much. I do have The Desert Prince, but I'm very scared of reading it because if it is bad, I will be so sad. Because this story for me was just subtle, and the ending had me crying for a good chunk. Like, I don't know, I was very emotional because I was finishing it. And book 2 I love, book 1 I love. I do have to say that book 3, book 4 had like pretty crazy deaths, and book 5 was okay. Though I have to say the ending was a bit underwhelming. But still, I really like the series in general, especially the first book is just so good. And the second one, it's basically set in a world where demons come out at night. They basically come out of thin air, and you have these swords that basically you carve on things and paint on stuff, and you are protected from certain type of demons. You're going to follow Arlen basically, and his mom gets killed right in front of him. So he's just like, you know what? I'm going to find a way to fight the demons. It's so cool. I like this first book so much. Definitely pretty dark in general. Like, it's not dark, but pretty dark. Then another recent one, I do have to say that I didn't love book 3, but I just remember this series with so much care and like love in general. So you know what, I'm adding it. The Licanius Trilogy. This is the first book, The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I just really like this series, and I think that it's heavily underrated. Like, all these people that have read like Brandon Sanderson and Robert Jordan are just like, oh my god, it's not that good. Like, the other ones are better. No fucking shit, but it's the writing style is very similar, and the plot is, oh Jesus Christ, such a complicated plot. I really like this story in general. Basically, you're set in a world where magic is forbidden. These super powerful beings used to rule, but they were pretty cruel with non-magical people, so humans basically slaughter them, and now they have control. We're going to follow Davian. He is a magical user, and the thing is, you have to pass this trial. You're also submitted to these laws. You cannot harm anyone. Basically, you cannot use your magic to harm anyone. So they are pretty defenseless, but if you don't pass this test, you will become a shadow. You're basically stripped of your magic, and you're basically left like a shell. It's a horrible fate, but he discovers that he is actually one of these magical beings, the ogres that used to rule before, and he has to flee. So we're going to follow him. I just love this series so much. I have actually reread it. I don't usually do that, and I just really like it. I still really liked it on second reread. There's a lot of time magic, death magic, everything magic that you want is here, and great swords, and memories, and oh. This series is so good. Am I trying to not make this super long? Yeah. Another great one. Another one that I've loved since book 1. There's only currently 2 books out, but like, I'm so excited. Every time that anything related to this comes out, like, I need it. I want it. This is Master Artificer by Justin Cole. The second one came out last year. I do really hope book 3 comes out this year, though I don't think so. But this series is just getting darker and darker. I just love it. We're going to follow a Nev, and this is a twist on the Chosen One trope. Basically, where if you were the Chosen One for evil, fantastic. He's also in this very secluded village where you have this academy, but instead of training you to use just like your magic, they're basically training to become like thieves of magical objects. They basically take all these magical objects from the world and store them in this academy. It's just super cool. The first book is very like classic type of fantasy, but the second one is really good. Although I have to say that my favorite is still the first one. I feel like I have to read both of them to just get like a very, very good idea, because this one came out 3 or 4 years ago and I didn't reread it before reading a Master Artificer. And my memories from this book are so good that maybe it's just my memory, you know, but I still love it. It's one of my favorite ones. It's great. Then this one, this is a standalone. This is Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. Dude, this book is so weird. This is basically kind of dark academia, but very fantastical and nonsensical. In general, you're going to follow Sasha, and she is on holidays, and this stranger comes right of her, and he's just like, you know what, you're going to go to the beach at this hour and you're just going to do it. She's just like, what the fuck? But she ends up doing it, and when she comes back home, she starts throwing up golden coins, and those coins are basically the access to go to this very weird university where she's going to learn kind of magic. I don't want to say anything because I don't think spoiling this book is great, because it's so fucking weird. Like, it's very weird. You definitely have to be like in a weird mood to read this, because everything is very esoterical in general. So it makes no fucking sense sometimes, but you just gotta go with the flow. Just go with it, everything will be fine. But Vita Nostra is one book that I really, really love and that I really want to read soon, because it was just that good. Then of course, the Poppy War. I do acknowledge that book 3 wasn't the best one, but I still love this trilogy so badly. Like, it's very dark, it's very gritty, it's super like heartbreaking almost all the time. I just really, really love this, and I love that we actually did a read along for this, which, you know, is always fun. But yeah, I just love the Poppy War. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what this book is about, so I'm not going to spend too much time with it, but dude, I just love this one. Like, I understand that a lot of people also don't like the change in the middle of this first book, but I actually really liked it. Like, it was so abrupt. Like, you know, like that event is usually very abrupt in general, so I was just like super happy about it. It made total sense for me, and I just love it. I love the war aspect of it. The Dragon Republic, which is the second book, it's fucking amazing if you just like more of a political type of fantasy. A lot of strategical warfare. then this is one of my favorite series of all time, and it has been for a long time. I do believe, oh, there's so much dust on it. I do believe that this can still hold up till this day, and I will reread it soon to just figure it out and just to check it. But The Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen is such a good series. I just love it so much. It's one of the few YA series. Well, could we even call this YA? Because I think it's technically adult, but very technically. It's so weird, but I just love series where you're just managing a kingdom. And this one had like a super cool twist in book 2, which I loved. Oh my god, I love this trilogy so much. Like, I do have to say that book 3, that ending is so fucking annoying and I hate it so much. But I still really love this trilogy in general, and I highly recommend this one to anyone, actually, to anyone who wants to read fantasy. This is so good. And the character, Kelsey, is just the fucking best in general. Probably my favorite character of all time. She's just amazing. I just love this. Just read The Queen of Tearling, dude. It's just like so good. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. So I will link the review here for Pawn's Gambit, basically the Mortal to Nyx series by Rob J. Hayes. I love the entire trilogy. I just didn't feel the need to bring out all 3. But this second one is my favorite one. You can basically read the first 2 as standalones, but if you want to read the third one, definitely read the first 2. Like, I think it's pretty much like a must at this point. But you're basically going to follow a bunch of different characters. You're set in this world where you have monsters, demons, demon hunters. There's a lot. You have your gods also meddling, which is why this one is my favorite one, because it has like the pantheon of the gods in it. The first one is about a task for a Shinigami. This one is about a championship with the gods, basically. And the third one, you're going to follow a demon hunter. It's just amazing. The Mortal to Nyx is just big fantasy for me, honestly. Like, it's as fantastical as fantasy can get. I love it. It gets super emotional with time. Like, the plot is also so good. The characters are so good. Everything about this series is fantastic. I have basically given all the books like almost 5 stars. Except this one, because it's a full 5-star. Like, it's just so good. But yeah, I just love this one. I highly recommend that you try it. Amazing. Do it. Again, the review is up here. But it's just so good. Then this is a pretty popular one, but yeah, The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I love the Gentleman Bastard series. Honestly, I'm pretty excited for book 4 whenever it comes out. I'm so sad of like we keep waiting, but still, I really like these ones. Like, they're super good. I have to disagree and say that my favorite one is the third one, even though a lot of people dislike that one compared to the others. Not that they dislike the book, but just like compared to the others. I love the Republic of Thieves, honestly. And this first book I actually really enjoyed, though I didn't love it. But then book 2 and book 3 changed my mind completely. It's just, it feels like a comfort read for me, even though I just don't love thief stories. But I just love deceiving and kind of smart characters. And I love Jean and Lux's relationship. It's such a cool relationship. Like, there's a lot of love and hate just in there. I just really liked it. So if you're looking for a great friendships, check out this one. Then again, one of my all-time favorites. I have to say that I don't talk about this one that often, but another book with this author is coming out this year, so I'm super excited. But this is the Powdermech Trilogy. This is book 1, Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. I fucking love this series. Like, this first trilogy especially. Like, I do have the second trilogy also, but I don't love it as much. This first one though, it's so good. It was my introduction to flintlock fantasy. It's basically a fantasy where you have guns, but like muskets, that type of gun. It's amazing. I love the magic system in here. Like, it's related to like the actual use of powder that you can also use for the guns. It's fucking amazing. You also have like your elemental type of magic. Dude, is so good. Also, the political intrigue in this book and in this series in general, over the top. Strategical fantasy, amazing. Strategical warfare, on point. I love this. The characters were fantastic, especially Thomas, which is my favorite character. Like, the old general that he's actually super smart with his spells. It's just I love this series so much. You're basically going to follow a bunch of characters after they committed a coup. They basically kill all the nobles, and now they are now they're putting in a republic. It's just good. It's just this one. Oh my god, I really want to reread it now. Of course, a new edition, the Cradle series by Will White. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I've been talking about this one for an entire year, every single month. I love this. I love this. This is my comfort read now. I just love following Linden in general. Every single character here is amazing. There's so much room for growth, and the battles are amazing. Everything is great in this series. Like, it can do no wrong for me. Like, I just love it. Now I understand the hype, but it's just so good. Everyone that likes fantasy in general should really try the Cradle. It's just like one of those series that is just good, that it will make you feel good. I love it. Okay, I'm not going to talk more about it, but try it, please. Okay, we're getting to the end now, I promise. The Greenbone Saga by Finally. This is book first. This is book 1, Jade City. Oh my god, this trilogy ended last year. Probably one of the best endings to a trilogy that I've ever read. So good, so consistent with all the story. Like, there were no loose ends. Everything was so well connected. You felt it so badly. Like, it was so hard to read sometimes. I do have to say that I felt like the stakes were higher on book 1 than on the rest of the series, but still, my heart hurt for a long time because of this series. Like, I thought there was going to be a serious emotional damage there, but still, this series is fantastic. It's more of a urban fantasy. It's set on this fantastical island named Kaigen, where you can extract this thing called Jade that will basically enhance your magical abilities. You can have just like more strength, you're more you can perceive everything just like better. It enhances your abilities, you know. You're going to follow the Nopik clan. Basically, he's at war with this other clan, the Mountain clan, and you're going to follow several members of the family. It's more of a generational type of story, but it's just so good. Oh my god, I just remember a thing that happened in book 3 that was so fucking sad. But yeah, this one is amazing. I know that in one of my videos I said I've never known someone that didn't like Jade City, and someone was just like, I am the one. I'm sorry for you, because this series is actually amazing. But yeah, completely understandable. But I think it's a series that is very accessible for anyone to read. And I just fucking wish it was translated, because I wish I could just recommend this series to my friends. Like, then obviously the Dandelion Dynasty by Ken. This is the first book, The Grace of Kings, which I have also separately reviewed, and I will link it here because my love for this series is endless and it's fucking fantastic. This is an Asian-inspired fantasy based on real events, and it's basically set after the death of this emperor, and now several provinces are deciding if they want to just get their freedom back or just remain with the empire. And you're going to follow two main characters, Mata and Kuni, as they face like adversities in general. I know it sounds weird, but this series is so good. It's not finished yet. The last book is coming out on June. We've been doing a read-along for the series. Again, we have been rereading them. Jesus Christ, this is so good. Like, book 2 is probably my favorite book of all time. I've never read a book that is as good as The Wall of Storms. Like, I can tell you, like, that book is just the book. And this man has the best writing style I've ever read. And I don't like flowery writing style, and I just usually don't pay attention to it. But if he can make me care about a cooking competition, he can do anything. Okay, the top 2 are still the same, you know. So The Sword of Kaigen by ML1. I still love this book so much. Like, I still think about it. I've been rereading it each year since I first read it, and it's just amazing. This is another Asian-inspired fantasy. I've seen it compared to Avatar, I think. And I do have to say that I kind of agree. I understand the appeal in there. But God, this is a tale basically of grief. Whew. It's just so hard. I've cried every single time that I've read this book, and I can tell you, I don't usually cry in general. But dude, this book has me sobbing every single time in the middle. Like, I cannot help myself, even though I know that it's coming, it still hurts. Because ML1 has a way to make you care so deeply. Jesus Christ. It's amazing. I will link also my review up here. It was, I think, one of the first reviews that I ever did. Oh, so hard. And of course, the last one, Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Andrew Rowe. This is the Arcane Ascension series, which I love. It's still not done, but I just love it in general. Like, oh, what a comfort read. It's just so intriguing. I want to know so badly, and I love how this helps with like my nerdiness in general, because you spend so much time learning about the magic system in here. I just love it, especially in book 3, even though it's not my favorite because it feels like a gap, like a bit of a gap between the main plot. The things you learn about the magic is basically an entire book dedicated to learning how the magic works, which is on itself a work of art. You know, like, that's so hard to do, but Andrew pulls it off. It's so like heartwarming and cozy. I just love it so much. The series is fantastic. I'm not going to talk about this one a lot because I'm actually planning on rereading it just to do like a full review, because I have never reviewed this book on its own on my channel, which makes no fucking sense, taking into account that my name comes from here. But still, I just love this series so much. I cannot wait for the next installment, which is coming out this year. Apparently, I have also need to read the last book on the sequel series, Soulbound, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, I love this series. It's amazing. If you're just looking for a feel happy type of series, just get Sufficiently Advanced Magic or the Arcane Ascension. It's just that good. So yeah, those were basically all like my favorite series, fantasy series of all time. I know that some of them are not completed and my tastes might change, but I just don't care. If some entry just falls next year, well, that's life. But as of right now, these are my favorite series of all time. It's curious enough because there's not that much dark fantasy there, because I feel like with dark fantasy I just read like one book, but the next installments in the series just don't quite make the cut for me, which is very weird. But still, have you read any of this series? I know some of you have. Please let me know what is your favorite series, fantasy series down below. I'm super curious about it. But as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.